Hi, I'm Joe Furey. I'm one of the producers and writers on the show, and I'm here with several other producer writers. Introduce yourself.
Al Higgins. I was executive story editor this year on this show.
Lou Morton, I was a writer.
Sam Johnson, I was a writer.
And I'm the only actor that showed up for the second day of commentary. Stephen Rick.
All right. How about a round of applause for Stephen?
Very nice.
Appreciate that.
So, this episode is the arcade episode, which is
Written by Brian Kelly, I
written by
believe.
Brian Kelly. And what are they doing here exactly?
I think it's
Some sort of suggestion box.
Another thing we did about a million times.
We did all sorts of
Suggestion
different
boxes
suggestion
constantly.
boxes.
Yeah, all kinds of suggestion boxes. Because these were always very difficult scenes to do at these tables here when we had to.
well, when actually they had to do actual work. That was the horrible. It's like when Maura had to do a broadcast
Yes.
about something. What was that? She always did like something was jammed on the
Subway,
The Pataki
the
interview.
Pataki interview, and there was a
interview.
fire in the sub. And technically, I think to this day, I don't think any one of us could probably say what these people do on the show.
Yeah.
That's kind of the weird thing. Is
The only thing I remember them doing is Bill and she had a show, or
Right.
Joe and she had a show.
at one point, yes. But
and
but like Lisa was what, a reporter, and
it started out as that.
right, and then we're
Andy
not really
was a
quite sure
reporter
what she
to
was.
start it out as.
Andy, we're not sure what. Andy said yesterday he was an editor, whatever that meant.
Oh my God, that's
Yes.
Andy was
fantastic.
an editor?
According to him, although
sad.
I don't think
He
I don't know
doesn't
what he
really
edited.
know.
I'm
He
not really
doesn't
quite
know.
sure. And Joe was an electrician. We know
He's
that.
guessing.
So they're talking about here. Oh, the vending
Oh, the
machine.
sandwiches are.
Oh, this was
very
really
good.
Oh,
funny.
was this
Yeah.
the sandwich subplot?
Yeah.
That was very funny.
This is very fun. We kind of had a running thing of Bill. I guess it was this season where we started, and it may have been with this episode, where we started to introduce these really odd elements of Bill's
His
life.
family, yeah.
Like
yeah.
odd backstories to his life and
Yep.
odd things like odd
He would be
foods that he
tormented
liked to
by his
eat.
family
It's
and left
basically
nude in
his-
places.
Yes.
Yeah.
His terribly abusive childhood.
But he always perceived it as being this wonderful thing. But
Good
but
times,
it generally
good
would be
times.
like, I'll never forget the time my, father neglected me, and it was just all.
Yeah.
And he said,
Well,
"Oh,
that
good
became his
times."
catchphrase too. Is good times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Good
yes.
times.
Right.
You know.
Good times, which is something we used to all say in the office all the time, which came from I don't even know what.
Brian or
Somebody heard someone say that one time, and we all endlessly repeated that.
yeah.
Good times.
Well, Matthew, I keep telling you if you take
So-
the that wouldn't be a problem.
So now what are they doing here until we get to the sandwich machine in the arcade?
Oh,
No,
the Boggle, is that it?
Oh, Boggle, right.
Oh, yes.
Right. Here's another odd thing that I don't really know why, but Lisa was supposedly like really brilliant at math for some
Yeah.
reason.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was on several
Yeah,
shows.
that was kind of just I don't know why that came in, but I know what the purpose of this is because she starts to think she's stupid. So this is what
yeah.
leads into the SAT thing
right.
because Andy's character ends up being smarter at the what is it what was the game
Jumble.
called? Jumble. He ends up being better at it. So
There's no Z.
there's Phil Dicker in the back.
Yep.
Okay, he's one of the extras. Phil Dicker, we see him in many of the shows, walking around doing more work than the
that
actual
is really
leads
good.
in the show.
Absolutely true.
So the premise here is that Lisa feels she's getting stupid, so she's
Yeah.
going to retake the SATs, right?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep.
right. Does anyone know where that came from? That story idea? I can't really recall.
Paul something. I think Paul might have been a Paul. I don't know. Who knows?
We had like a board of all these crazy ideas where people would just come up with ideas and add.
I think it was Lisa retakes the SATs story, and then how did we get there? And
They were like,
I want to ask a basic writer thing that people might not know about. You had all these story ideas up on a like a blackboard type of thing.
Yeah.
Did you switch sub stories into different main plots as you went along?
there was some mixing. Actually,
little,
there were
but-
like 50 stories were come up with like in the first week.
yeah, in the first
and
week.
then nobody came up with any more after that.
Right, that was it. And we
we
get
all
together the
moved them
first
around on
week.
the board.
Generally, the first
Yeah.
week we'd come in, we'd all say like, "Okay, here's some story ideas."
We're really
Then
going to get organized this year.
We're going to get organized. Then we play video games for a month.
This
Yeah.
is the year we're really going to
And
do
we
it.
would all write one script before the season started. And so
Okay.
that's why it was Brian Kelly's name on this, and I wrote Arcade, and we all would write one script, and then after that it was a free for all because we would run out of ideas.
Right, we totally
and
run out of things and rewrite.
I
everything.
remember you would come up with these lists of ideas for Paul to read, and it was like it was weird because it was like the more you thought of out the story and gave it an ending, the more Paul would just dismiss it because he couldn't. And I remember one time Drake Sather wrote, it was just one line, Andy literally gets ants in his pants. That was the only thing. And then that's the one
That
Paul
was a
picked.
great story. That was a great story.
Yeah. Because when they
last minute.
changed, because we ended up changing them so much that it was generally we just started sticking with you'd come up with a crazy idea like someone probably came up with this and said, "Oh, Lisa retakes the SATs because she and then it suddenly and then we'd sit down and just try and go through it and talk about it. What the hell was this about? And what are the beats of this story? And then that's kind of how the stories worked out.
And Lou, did we buy? Was this because we ended up Lou bought a bunch of arcade games? Was it before this episode or after this?
Oh, that's
It was,
right.
it was
guys
before
went
this
to-
episode. That's why we did this episode.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You went
We
to an
like-
auction.
Yeah, we went down to this auction in Fullerton where they sell arcade machines, and it's just like this like huge barn full of arcade machines and pinball machines. And then they auction them off like you'd auction off like cows or something.
Yeah.
It was like
that's
it's
hysterical.
a real nice Arkanoid. Who's got 100 for this Arkanoid? 100, 125, 100, 125. Hip, hip, hip. And so we bought a bunch of games. And we bought the game I was really obsessed with was Robotron. So I found out the guy who programmed Robotron in like 1982 was this guy Eugene Jarvis. So part of the reasons we did this, maybe the entire reason we did this episode, was so we could fly in Eugene Jarvis, and he could be an extra, and which we did.
Which he actually is in the episode.
Which he is in the
Is he
episode.
really?
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember any
I
of the
have to
actors'
also
names.
say the other thing about it was all these machines, they were all bought, and we actually took them and put them in an office in one of the offices.
Okay, there he is.
Which one?
Eugene
He's
Jarvis
the
is
one
of
who's a
these
little
guys.
closer to camera.
Which one? Right there.
That guy, right? The one who's not, the one he's
looking down right now?
overacting. He's really looking at the machine like
On the
he's
right.
like
He's behind Dave, right? That guy right there behind.
He's leaning on the machine.
Yeah.
Not him.
Not that guy.
The other one.
he's the one who's taking it really, really seriously, like
like he's
there
in.
he is. Like he's really
in
afraid
a
of screwing
film,
up the scene.
Really.
You know.
Yeah.
But we actually took all of these games and had a room. We had a whole game room
Yeah.
on the floor that we worked on, and everyone would go in there. That was another thing that we do with downtime. It was just any
Like
time of the day
Centipede,
there'd
yeah.
be people in there playing these games. And I think that game, that's probably one of the ones from that someone bought, right? Isn't that one of the ones
yeah,
that we
we
actually
had that.
bought?
We just wheeled it downstairs
Just
from
wheeled
the
it for
arcade
this
and
for
put
this
it out on
thing.
the stage.
Yeah. Did it even work? I don't even know if the thing
yeah, it
worked.
worked.
I
It was
forget if
good.
it worked or not.
I actually bought one. Lou bought a lot of these, and I bought a Tempest from Lou, which I still own. Bought it from Lou for $400, and I just got it fixed for $700. So there you go.
Really?
Great investment.
But
anybody
you're
out there
making a lot of
needs
money in quarters.
to- You're right. I'm saving
That's
a
okay.
lot of money.
What? And the rest of them are in a warehouse. Where are the rest of them?
Who knows?
No one knows where they are.
There's a centipede game. We had a foosball table.
Yeah,
really
that
good
foosball table was great.
I think that's all in Wilson
Sam and-
Gray
I don't know.
warehouse.
Sam and Chris were like foosball geniuses.
Yeah, they were amazing.
Apparently,
That
that's
was
all
our
they did in
only skill.
college.
Yeah.
But
Oh
no
yeah,
one
Marshall
ever beat
had
them. It was-
they were both great. I forgot about that.
Chris Marshall like this very bookish foosball genius.
Let's see what.
To say the least, I think one of the reasons too this episode was such a strong episode too was because Dave's character, how he became obsessed with this, how he was obsessed as a kid and everything, seemed to resonate with every writer on the show.
absolutely.
So it was all it was one of these stories that when this came up, it was like there were a million ideas for this
Yeah.
because
You can
everyone was Dave.
And Dave does a tremendous acting job in this,
Yeah,
with
he's
this
really good.
one as well. He's really obsessed with it, and he's just tremendous in it.
Yeah, you really do believe that he was one of these guys
Yeah.
that every single person, all of us were.
I love this sequence. It's very funny.
Wisp, I remember that serial.
Yeah, I know.
Cowboy's boots are bigger.
You can see the game, of course, as every viewer knows and can recognize, is William Stargate Defender. But they had to put tape all over everything so you couldn't see it.
Of course.
That's called
Ridiculous.
Greeking it.
Greeking, very good.
I believe there was something too when we were doing the mix on this. We had to go through several variations trying to find the right sounds for Bill's crunching of these sandwiches.
Right. Because
It was
there's so
quite
old.
a quite a process. I remember going, no, that doesn't sound crunchy enough, and that doesn't sound until we finally found the right kind of sound. It's a little side note.
Yeah. And this is, I think, the first time he sort of
Yeah,
talked
he's
about his
getting
family.
into
Yeah.
his
I think this
The
this
sandwiches.
was the first episode that he started getting
they
really.
were left in a box.
This was
Yeah.
weird, and then he got, really, really odd as it went along. How he's like, what? He had a girlfriend who
I love Lou. I think Lou
set
wrote
fire
that.
to
That
his
was
hair or something like that. What was-
Fantastic.
Oh,
So
right.
you write a sequence about his girlfriend calling the police or accusing him of things he didn't do or what?
I remember
yes.
that. I
Yeah.
never remember who wrote what, but I remember
Yeah,
that.
I
But the
think so.
idea of it
So,
was
yes.
that it was
So, yes, it was me.
The girlfriend was crazy, and she like set fire to his apartment, all this stuff, and he kept just saying,
But he kept talking
women,
about, women, huh?
And Dave kept going, no, not really. That's really odd. Yeah. So, and then that became like a huge part of Bill's
Yeah.
character. We all loved that aspect of it. And Steven began to get a little bit. Steven's character, Jimmy,
Well, I
he
kept
got a little bit
getting-
nuttier too as it went
Well,
along.
it got nuttier and dumber as the season
Yeah,
went
yeah.
on, until finally I didn't even know what
But
an
that was-
antenna was on top of the building, which I protested about. I said, you know, I was pretty sharp at the start of the show, and now I'm a moron.
But I
Well,
think
the thing about
the
Jimmy,
thing,
yeah.
Oh, go ahead. No,
The thing
go.
about Jimmy James, which made him a joy to write, is he was either incredibly smart or incredibly dumb, depending on what you needed at that
Exactly.
moment.
Yes.
Yeah. He was an
uh,
idiot savant,
And generally,
or just an idiot.
And generally, it was always more fun to write people being idiots. So that's probably
The
why
thing about
that
Jimmy James,
happened
he
a
was
lot.
too smart to need to know things.
What was great
That's
too
what it was.
about the actors too is like, they would protest and stuff like that, but then they would just commit to whatever you had 100% and just
Oh, yeah.
make it good and just
oh yeah.
make it work. They made everything work, which was
But we would bitch about it.
you would,
yeah,
absolutely.
But then
Yes.
at the end of the day, you would give it. You wouldn't tank it. You would give it your all.
We liked doing this show. It was fun. I mean,
It turned out pretty good.
it was joyous, as
Let's
it were.
not forget.
Yes.
Yes,
it
we
was-
did everything wrong, but the show was good.
In some respects, it was hard to write for Dave's character. That's too because of that exact thing we're talking about. 'Cause
Wow.
he was kind of the voice of reason in the entire show on some level. So it was. He always had to make him sort of reasonable.
Yet
and
we
he couldn't be
pulled it off.
completely insane.
Again, the show was good.
Right. No, but my point
Let's
is
not do this revisionist. The show was bad.
no. But my point is, this is one of the episodes where Dave became sort of nuts. 'Cause
Oh, this
he
is
was
a great episode
generally,
for Dave.
Yeah, because generally he was
the voice of reason.
the voice
Yeah,
of reason,
and
and
the
this
man.
one he kind of like sort of loses it, which
He
is
was
funny.
funniest when he lost it, when he went
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, absolutely.
But-
and he didn't do that. It was rare that he did that.
But more importantly, the day we shot this, I had to spend the day with Eugene Jarvis.
How is that?
Back to the main story.
So he comes in. He's a millionaire. He's designed like all these video games, and
Do you
he's a
remember
video
which
game
ones?
millionaire.
Robotron.
Yeah,
Oh, that racing one.
Robotron,
Pole position.
Defender,
USA,
Stargate Defender, Cruising USA,
Cruising USA.
Narc.
Oh, I don't know that one.
So he's a millionaire. He flies in from Chicago, and his only his only luggage is a brown paper bag full of a change of clothes, and it's not a new brown paper bag. It's like shiny, like he's used it for this a lot. So I'm hanging out with him, and I'm playing Robotron with him, which is like it is sort of semi-exciting for me because okay, it's very exciting for me because it's like my favorite video game. He programmed it. He's playing it for me. And I'm like, he's gonna show me all the tricks and stuff, and like he's not that good. It's kind of surprising. And then like he's in wardrobe and he's taking it way too seriously because he doesn't know that he's an extra and he can do anything and it won't matter. And so he's playing the game. He gets really into play this game he programmed, and he like when he screws up, he like pounds on the game like he's gonna break it. And so he's getting really too into it. So he takes his shirt off so he doesn't wrinkle the wardrobe. And so he's playing Robotron topless in the room,
Which is the
with me,
moment
and,
we were all waiting for.
and it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. And
And didn't he sign your machine?
did.
I believe.
yeah, then he signed it. He signed the Robotron machine, and he said, "What should I write?" And I said, "Oh, write anything." And so he wrote, "To Lou, you rock my Robo, Eugene Jarvis."
And the ironic part is
That's
he probably won't even buy this DVD to see this.
Yeah,
I was talking about. He's probably forgotten this entire incident already.
Mom and apologize for letting her down. I'll see you.
All right, good night, sir.
Now, this
But,
is what Steven. Now your character
we
got
all
obsessed
worked
with
up?
it.
I
too,
got, I
wasn't
got
it?
all
Oh,
obsessed
yeah.
with the machine.
get
as
obsessed with
well
it also,
for a
and-
while. I
Yeah.
don't remember.
Now the premise too was Dave. Dave now was getting stupider because.
No,
I forget. I kind of
he
forget.
took
He
took the SAT last time. He did poorly in the SATs because of this game.
Oh, that's
And
right.
it just
that's
so
right.
happened.
And
So
that
it was
will
a
happen
nice
again.
tie-in.
Right.
Very nice.
Of course, yes. Speaking to the machine, of course. All the writers can
he's
relate
so
to
great.
that. So this, what you're looking at, is every writer's childhood right here.
And
What a
adulthood.
loser, what a total loser. Yeah, Dave
Yeah.
is what all the writers were.
Oh, then we're going to go to the SATs after this, and we have a
Yeah.
special
Oh, yeah.
guest star who became,
Oh, that's right.
became quite famous, actually,
Yeah.
which you will see when we go.
I like this little.
Dave's been there all night.
Hey,
Are you just going home now?
Oh, so now, yeah, he's going to the. Sam's enjoying this.
Yeah, I'm liking this episode.
This is, well, this is a good
Very much.
episode.
well, Sam's actually watching it.
I am watching, which I shouldn't do. Playing games until the sun comes up brings back great memories.
That's right.
How long do we have before the next section?
10 minutes.
There she is.
How you doing?
There
That's
she is.
her, yeah.
That's her in the
Well, there's
back.
a scene with Maura with her, right?
Yeah.
Where she,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a little awkward about being the only kid in my row with a pension plan.
This, of course, another completely implausible
And what's this
scenario.
school with all this?
I was going to say,
graffiti?
this is the
Jesus
dirtiest
Christ,
looking school
yeah.
I've ever seen.
Like a
Even for-
RISD or something.
Yeah, even for New York, it looks pretty.
Well, that
pretty
was one of those
skunky.
things where it was. That was one of those things where it
Oh,
was
who's
always.
that guy?
He's.
Has he been in other stuff?
Yeah.
Sure.
Who is that
He's
guy?
on another show too. Yeah.
Do you have the
is
list
that
over there,
guy?
Robert? Oh, Robert's going to look it up for us.
Yeah,
and
look-
we'll find out what it is.
Always on my case.
This was the set you're talking about. This was one of the things that was always a stickling point, was trying to make these sets look like a legitimate, like a real
The tall
thing.
kid had
Not
That's-
Here we are. Here's
That's Lily Sobieski,
Yeah,
but I
that's
think
right.
it's possible that soon the other guy will be more, whoever he is, will be more impressive.
You can't get into a good college, and then you won't get a good job, and then your life will be ruined. Oh, I'm sorry. I mean, maybe if you
Wesley
had
Johnson.
Wesley
Jonathan.
Jonathan, he's in stuff.
Oh, sure, of course.
How old is she? Looks like she's about 12 here. How
I'm
old
less
is she?
impressed than now that I know his name, but he's in stuff. I think he was in Roll Bounce, huh? Roll
There you
Bounce,
go.
guys.
No.
Yeah. I have no idea.
Oh, I love this.
Oh, this is another classic. Yeah.
Oh, this is a reveal, as I recall.
Oh
Yes.
yeah, but
Okay.
This
I
is-
didn't realize that it blows it in that
It does, and
That
from
shot,
the
yeah.
back.
that shot.
Yeah, but you're not expecting it, so
There,
this is truly
huh?
this
Blown.
is truly one of the most
Blown.
insane moments in the show. I think
really
this
was.
is when the show started to really get.
That's Duke Malton
This
in
was
the back
the
booth.
inspiring
Duke Malton in the
things. This was we started when this kind of stuff started happening, and it worked. Like the show became more and more insane. Like
Yeah.
as this
Until
moment,
finally, I was holding a chicken.
yes.
As I recall later on.
And
And
notice
this was what summed it all up, though, when he said this right here.
Me to bring back the sandwich machine?
Yes. that was the thing I always loved. It was just doing the completely insane thing and then just copping to it
Yeah,
immediately.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
never just like
Hiding it, yeah.
That's what made it different from
From regular sitcoms.
Yeah.
Yes.
that's
Dave calling him on it and then him saying, yes,
Yes,
that's
of
exactly
course
what
I
I
did
did.
that.
Because it's obviously just no way.
that was the thing
Not
about Phil
working.
is you would think he would take a beat there and he wouldn't, and it would be 12 times funnier than you ever thought it would be.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Where like he
Thank you.
and you would learn not to put stage directions in his lines because he would
He would
do
just
the
do it
opposite.
perfectly, yeah.
He'd do the opposite and make it so much funnier than you were telling him to do it
Yeah.
that you'd feel embarrassed
Yeah.
and never do it again.
Well, he was funny too. Even when you'd rewrite stuff, like you'd go over and I'd go over and say something, or someone would say something, and try it this way, and he was always kind of like, okay, he'd give it a thought, he'd go, all right, okay, and then just like do it the next
Yeah.
take, and
Yeah,
it'd be great.
no, he
It
was
like,
amazing.
he was pretty good that
Was
way.
this season the piano playing one? Was that or was that next season?
I don't know. I guess
That was next season.
Oh,
maybe
okay.
next
Because
season.
we had what's her name in the show?
Oh yeah, the Plan B or whatever. her name
Plan
was,
B.
yeah.
Plan B.
Yes.
Plan B.
Gilmore Girl.
Gilmore
Lauren
Girl.
Graham.
Lauren Graham.
Another one.
Yes.
That was another stunt thing. That
Another
we,
stunt casting.
An arc.
Along
That
with
was when we were
Brad
trying
Rowe.
arcs.
That's
That's
right.
right, Brad Rowe.
Brad Rowe was
Brad
stunt
Rowe, that's
casting as
right.
well.
Was the arcs in response to the Friends sort of thing? Because
I think it was in response, but what I recall was it was in response to these shows were very sort of choppy, just flipping around a lot. And I think they were they wanted to have arcs that went more through, like you said, Friends, but you could go into another episode or go,
which is why you
spend
did
3
the
weeks.
jail episode was like three or 4 episodes.
Yeah, they didn't want them to be like sort of self-contained episodes. They wanted them to continue, and it was always
Impossible.
And like we were never interested in it really, and kind of showed, and I guess a little in some of them because the arcs weren't so great, but we tried to make them as self-contained anyway. It was always, we kind of tried to fight against it. And just
the first episode would be okay. The first episode in an arc, and then then trying to like come up with the rest of the arc was horrible.
Right, and then we generally just kind of use a piece of the arc, try to just connect it some way, but then just make the stories completely whatever we wanted to do with that anyway. Nothing really to do with the arc.
That's why the show was bad. That's right. I've come along to your guys' way of thinking. Revisionism is correct.
That's right. Terrible show.
Black is white. Up is down. Freedom
Look what
is
she's
slavery.
wearing to the office.
News
Look what she's
radio
wearing to
is
the office.
terrible.
That's right.
What is she wearing?
I know what.
Well, she tended to wear in this season a lot of long coats.
Yeah. Was she doing Pilates? Because she had a great stomach.
Yeah, no,
I think she
looked
was.
great.
She looks like she should be in like a strip club.
But I think all of her clothes showed her belly button.
I should be in a
that
strip
season,
club.
I
I was like,
I hear that.
Oh, thank you. Huh? What are you guys talking about?
Oh,
The big.
he doesn't get to do Stargate Defender anymore.
now he's terribly upset.
Oh, this is a good joke.
I wish I was big.
real quick, did we
I
cut all
remember
the
that.
stuff where Jimmy was obsessed with a video game? Because it was really funny.
No, we did.
No,
we did.
no,
We
it
just
was
in
missed
there?
it. We just
Oh,
missed
No,
it.
that was it. We just talked through it.
Right.
Is Jarvis there?
That's
Is that
Eugene Jarvis in the
Okay.
background.
Oh, okay.
He makes another appearance. Fantastic.
This did not air. See, he had his credit.
8 million.
I think it aired, but again, it was one of these things that aired on NBC when they did
Once.
Well, no, it aired in the corner of the screen while the credits were like, flying by.
This is the most self-indulgent thing we ever did. Because Eugene Jarvis had a line.